Quick message for my black people, man. I ain't gonna sit here before you too long, right? I'm not gonna talk your ears off. But I always notice this. Whenever a black person is killed in the hood by another black person, right? I always hear black people come out and say this. In order for police to stop killing us, we gotta stop killing each other first. We gotta stop killing each other first for the police to treat us right, right? That's the stupidest stuff I've ever heard in my life. One has nothing to do with the other, right? The police are supposed to protect and serve, regardless of what's happening amongst our people in certain neighborhoods and communities. That's literally their job, to protect and serve no matter what. They're not supposed to think, oh, well, they already are killing each other anyway, so what the hell, we'll do it too. That's not that. They're not supposed to think like that at all, right? Secondly, do y'all really think that corrupt and racist cops sit amongst each other and say, hey, if they stop killing each other, then we'll stop killing them too? That's all they have to do. All they have to do is stop killing each other. If they stop killing each other, we'll stop doing it. That's all we're asking them to do. Hell no, they don't think like that. Like, knock it off. Knock it off. Y'all know that's absolutely silly. That's BS, and y'all know that. For real. Black people are the only people tricked and trained to believe that our people have to be perfect with no infractions amongst each other in order for us to be treated equally and fairly by law enforcement. For real, we are the only people who are tricked and trained to believe that our people have to be perfect with no infractions. We have to be perfect, absolutely, on an absolute scale for us to be treated with respect. Come on, like that don't make no sense, man. Like, and I don't know if y'all know this, but other races kill each other too. Every other race kills each other too, for real. Every other race. And yet and still, those other races don't believe that they should stop harming each other absolutely. So they should be treated, so they can be treated fairly and equally. They don't believe that. They don't believe that, hey, we all gotta stop killing each other absolutely on an absolute scale. We all have to stop harming each other. So that way the police can respect us. Hell no. You know what? They don't never say that. They go out and go seek justice for their people. Regardless. They go out and go seek justice for their people. They don't care nothing about, last week, Bill harmed Bob, so hey, the police have every right to go and kill us. Like, they don't never justify that. They don't never justify it at all. But black people do it all the time. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? What are y'all talking about, man? Like, when y'all say that, y'all regurgitate that nonsense, y'all are letting corrupt and racist police officers off the hook. All the time when y'all regurgitate that nonsense, you're not holding them accountable. You're like saying that black people are accountable. We should be the ones. It's our fault because it's some people in the neighborhood that killed each other. So now the police they have free reign to do so. We have to stop and make sure everybody in our neighborhood doesn't hurt each other so that the police officers can do their job. Come on, man. That's nonsense. That's BS, man. I'm not standing on that. I'm not standing for it at all. For real. I'm never gonna stand for that. And let's be real, man. I too want our people to stop killing each other. I want that to stop happening. But my point is, every race has infractions amongst each other. But for some strange reason, only black people are told we have to be perfect to be treated equally and fairly. We are told you got to stop harming each other for your life to be valued by law enforcement. Again, I ask you, does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? And I stuttered early in the video because it got me so enraged, and I'm like it pisses me off when I hear people say that. Like, other races don't sit and think, hey, because Bill shot Bob last week, hey, the police, hey, it's okay if the police kill us or harm us because, hey, we got to just stop doing it first for them to respect. Like, no, that's not how life and society works at all. A person isn't supposed to do their job based upon how that race of person that they're dealing with, how that race handles each other. Hell no. They're not supposed to do their job based upon how that race handles each other in certain instances or certain neighborhoods or whatever. Like, cut it out, man. Cut it out. Every race kills each other. Every race commits crimes against each other. All the time. But only black people are chastised and made to believe that we have to be absolutely perfect. We have to be flawless. We have to be flawless for us to be treated fairly, treated right. And my black people buy into that. And they just start saying it and saying it and saying it. And I'm going to ask y'all this, right? When if something were to happen to your children, right, to one of your family members, your black people I'm talking to, if something were to happen to one of your children, your family members, God forbid, knock on wood, right? Are you gonna say, oh my God, if the police do something to your child or your loved one, are you gonna say, oh my God, hey, you know what? It's okay because I can't get mad because black people harm each other all the time, so I can't properly be upset at the police officers for harming my baby because we do it to each other all the time. Like, oh my God, it happened last week where a black person killed another black person, so I'm not supposed to be enraged that my baby got, harmed by law enforcement. My baby was killed by law enforcement. I'm not supposed to be mad because, hey, we harm each other all the time. It's supposed to, hey, it is what it is. You're not going to say that. You're not going to say that at all. You're not going to believe that. You're not going to say, hey, it's okay that my baby was gunned down by law enforcement unjustly because it's okay because, hey, Tyrone and Chris, Chris killed Tyrone last week. Hell no, you're not going to think like that at all. You're going to be upset and enraged because your baby was unjustly killed by law enforcement who's supposed to protect him or her. That's all you're going to be thinking. You're going to be heated. You're going to say, why did this happen to my child? It's not right. My child was not, like, he wasn't doing anything. He wasn't a threat to anybody. Why was my child murdered? That's what you would be thinking if you were the parents or loved ones of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. It wouldn't be well, we got to stop killing each other first. No, ain't nobody going to think about that. As a parent or a family member of a loved one who was killed unjustly by law enforcement, there ain't gonna be no thinking about, hey, you know what, I can't get mad. My loved one was killed by law enforcement. My baby was killed by law enforcement, but hey, I can't get mad. They were killed unjustly, but hey, there's a lot of black people they killed other black people, so I gotta let it ride. Hell no. And you gotta be crazy to make me think that you would think like that. Nobody thinking like that. Like, come on, man. But y'all, yet and still y'all sit and use those talking points as a way to excuse police brutality. And y'all can say y'all not excusing it all y'all want to. Y'all say, a lot of people say, I'm only speaking out against black on black crime. Again, let me just say this, man. Black on black crime is a made up narrative, right? They don't call it white on white crime. They don't call it Asian on Asian crime. They don't call it Indian on Indian crime. They don't do that at all. But they made up a term for when black people harm other black people for some strange reason. And I always tell people this. I said it in my previous videos. People commit crimes against people who they live in proximity to, whoever lives around them. And a lot of these major cities, like the city I come from, Chicago, Illinois, they love to use Chicago as a talking point. Love to, even though violence happens everywhere, whatever, but like they love using Chicago as a talking point. Chicago, Illinois, for example, is the most segregated city in the United States of America. Black people only live with black people. Hispanic people live with Hispanic people. White people live with white people. Asians live with Asians. Arabs live with Arabs. That's how it is in Chicago. People commit crimes amongst who they live. They commit crimes against who they live amongst. That's what it is. Period. That's all it is. So anywhere a person, if an Asian, white people kill white people. It happens all the time. They're going to commit crimes against people who live closest to them. So all this black on black crime and all that, like, knock it off. Because they don't call it, when I watch all these shows, I watch Forensic Files and all of that. And when white people kill white people, they don't call it white on white crime. When I've seen Asian people kill Asian people on there, they don't call it Asian. They don't call it Asian on Asian crime. They don't call it Indian on Indian crime at all. So cut it out, man. But yeah, man, I just want black people to stop it, man. Stop it. We don't have to be perfect as a people for us to be treated properly and fairly, equally and fairly. And that's my thing, man. Yeah, I want violence to stop amongst our folks just as much as anybody else. I want that to stop. I really do. You know what I mean? Because, at the end of the day, we already got enough we got to deal with in society all the time. We got enough we got to deal with. All the lack of funding in our neighborhoods, the lack of resources when it comes to education, and the lack of jobs available in our neighborhoods, and all of that. We got to deal with all of that already. All of those things that set us back. So I do believe that we got to stop with all the violence amongst each other. But I want our people to know that every other race harms each other all the time. It happens all the time. But it's only reported when it's amongst us. And we're made to see, and people report that. They report that. It's always on TV, especially with Chicago and all these other, really Chicago too. They call it black on black crime to make it seem that black people are innately more criminal than any other ethnicity. Like we're just more criminal than anybody else. That is absolutely not true. And I don't want my people to be spitting out and spewing that nonsense and then letting it live, letting that narrative stay around. This is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong, man. You know what I mean? Absolutely wrong. So I'm not gonna be the one out here talking about when a black man is killed by law enforcement, or excuse me, when a black man is killed by another black man, we gotta stop killing each other if we want them to take us serious. What? Are you serious? They should be taking us serious regardless. They should be valuing our lives regardless of what's going on in certain neighborhoods and certain pockets. Because let me tell y'all something right now. Every black person ain't walking around killing another black person and, oh my God, 1 out of 3 black people kill each other. Like, come on, man. Cut it out. That's not what's going on. That's not what's going on. I'm going to tell you right now. A lot that's going on in Chicago, Illinois is in certain pockets of the city, certain sections in certain neighborhoods. And it's from rival gang stuff that's going on, right? That's what that is. It ain't like people running around just wild and acting a fool and like, come on, man. It's not. And again, every race commits crimes amongst each other all the time, but we are taught to believe that we have to be perfect. Perfect. White people, if a white person is killed by law enforcement, they don't say, hey, we got to stop and think about this. John killed Bill, and so we got to stop that violence in our neighborhood amongst our people for the police to respect. Hell no, they setting it off. They got a firestorm created. They snapping, they going in. An Asian person do the same thing, and black people been snapping and going in too, for sure. They've been doing it too, but I'm saying like there's no talks amongst white people that, hey, we gotta stop doing it to each other. It's none of that. It's none of that. And again, we watch the news and stuff to see that, and all these shows to see that black people aren't the only ones that have crime and violence amongst our race. It happens in every other race. But for some reason, it's always taught that we just the most criminal of all people. And I just want our people to just stop and think about saying stuff like, hey, in order for police to stop killing us, we got to stop killing each other first. Cut it out, man. And I talked way longer than what I was supposed to. I went on a tangent. But, yeah, man, like I said, I want violence to stop in our neighborhoods, too. But we're not innately more criminal than anybody else. We don't have to be perfect with no infractions for us to be treated equally and fairly. Machiavelli Mills TV. Peace.